So in 2025, we're crying over a rug.
All I wanted was like a fun rug, a cool rug on the ground for him. Nothing.
Because y'all will do everything, talk shit about the teachers, degrade them, literally not give your child things that they need to succeed and be better, just to spite the teacher because they're not doing it for you.
Purchased myself. All my organization, purchased myself. Your son's birthday stuff that I'm going to give him on his birthday, I purchased myself. Supply bins, which I do community supplies because I only have $35 and that's not even enough to buy a kid a brand new box of crayons, but I'm doing what I can and I bought myself.
I did not delete the video. I privated it because I was tired of the bullying and the harassing that people were doing for me simply coming on to my platform and share my feelings. There is way more to the story than just the classroom not being aesthetic.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Selena. Today we are talking about back to school things, so let's get started. My microphone is dead. I'm just talking to the camera. Turn up your volume if you can't hear me, I'm sorry. Next time I film, I will have my microphone charged and ready. First of all, are you in school? Are your kids in school now? Because when I'm filming this, it's the third week of August, and I feel like a lot of kids in my neighborhood or coworkers that I have, their kids are already in school. Some started the last week of July and I was like, that is crazy. But where I'm from in Ohio, this is when we would start to go back to school. You know, third week of August. I'm actually wearing a shirt I used to wear in high school, and then I used to wear these earrings in high school. Someone commented on my earrings last time, so I am responding to you in the comments, but these, I just took a picture of them because I don't know the brand if you're interested, but it said sequence dangly earrings. So if you're interested in these, I think you would just have to type in sequins earrings or something like that. But yeah, I just thought they'd be kind of fun. And I also used to put mousse in my hair in high school and like scrunch. So I did do that, ironically. I don't know. But high school look. What did you guys look like in high school? Like, what is this? I don't know. But I think it's kind of fun. Anyways, given that it's back to school, there's a lot of drama on TikTok right now. Let's just do one story today, okay? So there's this mom, Nicole. She gets on TikTok and she's crying because there is no rug in her son's classroom. Check this out.
This is your sign that if you are just home from your kids meet the teacher and you are underwhelmed and not excited like you were a few days ago, then you are not alone. All I wanted was like a fun rug, a cool rug on the ground for him. Nothing. I'm just praying that by Tuesday there is a little bit more fun in the room, because right now it just looks like a room with a few Legos and, you know, empty bins and a board with nothing written on it. Like, it couldn't even say like welcome to meet the teacher with like her name on it. I don't I mean, he didn't really notice any different and he said he's excited still, but it's boring. Like, you couldn't put the name on the board or anything.
Now listen, I have been one to cry about things that don't matter, but to upload that and double down in your response is pretty crazy. So we're gonna get into her response, but let's talk about this video. I have some notes, of course, and I want to read some comments as well. When she said this is your sign, I don't even know what she means. Like, this is your sign that if you just got home from your kids meet the teacher and you are underwhelmed and not excited like you were a few days ago, then you are not alone. Just that sentence alone, you know how it was a choice to upload that video? Yes, it's her page, but that sentence alone, it is kind of jumbled up a little bit. I think when she was excited to meet the teacher, at the end of the day, it didn't go as she wanted it to. Now, we're gonna dive more into why, but just because something doesn't go your way, I think it takes a certain type of person to cry about it and then put it online. But it depends on what it is. Like, if your family member just went through an ICE raid and now it's a broken family, Yeah, post that on TikTok, let the world know. Let's share it. Let's let everyone know what's going on in the world. But not if your son's kindergarten classroom didn't have a rug. That's just me. What do you guys think? But yeah, speaking of ice raids, there's a lot going on right now. I am just thinking about all of the families and people who are affected by that. It's just a lot. So yeah, all I wanted was a fun rug, a cool rug on the ground for him, but there's nothing. Now I want to ask you, did you have a cool rug in kindergarten? I was trying to think about first grade, kindergarten. Did I have cool rugs in the classroom? Were there cool rugs for me to sit on? I don't remember. Just something to think about for your kid. Think about it from the kid's perspective. Is the kid gonna remember a rug? I don't know. I'm just praying that by Tuesday there is a little more fun in the room, because right now it just looks like a room with a few Legos and empty bins and a board with nothing written on it. And she was saying it could have at least said meet the teacher's name. She even said that her kid didn't notice anything different. He's still excited, but it's boring. And that's the thing. It's about the child learning, okay? It's not about, is this the prettiest room in the world? Does the room have a bunch of colors? It's not about the room having the most colors in the world, toys, being the most aesthetically pleasing, which I think is crazy. And what gets me is the caption. She says, "You are not alone, not one personalized thing. It's always my luck and his luck." Oh my gosh, that self-pity victim mentality just because there's not a rug. Now, again, we're gonna give this lady some grace, but just reacting to that video alone, I mean, we all have our sad moments, or our moments where we're crying over spilled milk or the scarcity of a rug. But posting it is another story, and posting it was a choice, ma'am, Miss Nicole. I'm sorry. And I'm also not giving her that much grace because the way she doubles down in the second video. But again, I do give her grace because we all have bad days. We all have days where we're just crying over something stupid. My dog's excited, if you can see. If you're crying over something small, you're likely crying over something else, but we'll get into that. She privated the video, so the comments are just from other videos that have screen recorded her video. I guarantee she voted for public education to be defunded too. See, that's the thing. That's the thing as well. They defunded... Oh, sorry. Hold on. You want to say hi? Say hi? Speaking of my dog, this is Mochi. Y'all have been showing her love on our shorts, so thank you for that. But this is her. She normally lies on the floor when I'm doing my videos, but now she can be part of my longer form videos. Can you see her? Are you the prettiest girl in the world? Are you the prettiest girl in the world? $6.2 billion were held from the Department of Education. So when you think about that being part of the reason why teachers have less, you need to connect the dots. And also too, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but teachers have to pay out of pocket for a lot of the things for the kids. And they don't have to, but that's just what teachers do. Hey Nicole, medically fragile PK teacher here. 100% of the cute stuff you see here came from my pocket, and it took my time to organize and create. Volunteer your time and effort to that teacher. And you know what, you guys? Teachers have wish lists. I have bought off of teachers' wish lists before. It's not hard to find, and most of the time you can just ask them. So what if you went into that meet the teacher thing and said, "Hey, Miss Teacher, where's your wish list?" Or, "Hey, Mr. Teacher, are there any supplies that you need this year? Do you always need extra tissue boxes?" Her job is literally finding Amazon finds. She can't find a rug for her kid's classroom. I have no patience for this. Notice how her kid doesn't care? She needs to grow up. I did see Nicole in a TikTok ad, but her whole profile is private.
It is Monday, August 7th, and I'm back with some more deals and promo codes for you. This 3-pack of Under the Sink organizers has a 35% off coupon to clip on top of a price drop, making it just $20. And if you are looking for some permanent markers for work or school, these are 50% off, down to $5.49.
How ironic that she promotes markers on sale for workers, but she can't help out with her teacher to get her teacher supplies. Mind you, this video was uploaded in 2023, but that's very interesting. 2 years later, she's complaining about a lack of supplies in a teacher's classroom. Her job is literally promoting products.
And to Nicole Koester, Big Mama, ain't no way that you out here really crying over your 5-year-old's classroom, acting like you can't do anything. Yet you're sitting there on your buying all this online to do shitty reviews on them when nobody gives a what type of products you're reviewing. You can spend that time and money buying for your student's classroom. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, why don't you befriend other parents and figure out what to do if you're just so dumb? Because y'all will do everything, talk shit about the teachers, degrade them, literally not give your child things that they need to succeed and be better, just to spite the teacher because they're not doing it for you. And it's funny as because I bet you half these hoes literally go to church and are listening to God's word every Sunday wondering, I wonder when my time will come when I can be empathetic and I can help others and give what extra I have. Y'all like to play the part, but not actually act it out. And it's so sad that you would come up on here talking so much about your son's classroom that he's dead going to be in for the next year. And it's stuff like this that makes education so much harder for educators and for your students, because you should want your child to succeed, right? We're not telling you to buy the whole classroom. We're not telling you to sponsor every single child. We're just simply stating that if you have something that's concerning to you, definitely contact the school. Definitely get in touch with your teachers. Definitely advocate for your children if you feel the need to. But don't come on here sobbing like you aren't the richest person on here. And I don't mean that in any sense, but girl, if you have life, if you have a roof, if you have food on your table, if you're able to bring your child into school without having to worry about being on the way, without having to worry about a food drop on you, like aid literally dropping on your head, being bombarded in schools, then I think you're fine. I don't think you need to be crying over your 5-year-old's kindergarten classroom. There's lots of other things that are worth crying for. This is something that you can actually act upon and do and make the situation better.
That is ironic. If her job is literally selling products on TikTok, then you can't be mad about the lack of a rug in your kindergartner's classroom. And that's just one of the teachers. Skip a nail appointment and go on over to the teacher's wish list. Be helpful, not shameful. Sorry. Is she seriously crying? I know. See, that's the thing. Oh, this is kind of funny, actually. So when I took screenshots of the comments, I actually saw this rug. I don't know if you could see on my dirty phone. I saw this rug on the street and I was thinking about picking it up. You know what? You can wash rugs. But isn't that cute, kind of? A lot of teachers are responding to this, which I appreciate because they're the first people that we should be hearing from about this. And you know what? Teachers have to interact with parents all the time. I think it's just good to get insight from the source, okay? Let's hear from teachers and other people on TikTok.
I don't understand this battle that parents have created against teachers. I'm not judging a teacher based off of how their classroom is decorated. It is not their job to make learning fun. But yet, so many of them do it because they love to do it. Because they have so much love for our children. It is mind-boggling how some of you act and the things that some of you say. Why don't some of you try volunteering at your local school? Why don't some of you try volunteering in the classroom with your kids? So if you want them to have a cute little rug because they don't have one, give them a gift card. Tell them to go buy a cute little rug. Some of you act like teaching is a hobby that a wife does.
Let me put some of this into perspective for you. Now, I already did a previous video explaining like teachers and the money that we have to spend. My district, I have $250, okay? For basic supplies that I use to make my classroom function, let me show you what I'm currently left with and what's in my Amazon cart. We have some composition notebooks, my science folders. I'm doing a new system this year where students have to put this on their desk when they are out of the room, whether we are in the office or the bathroom or a different room for groups. Expo markers, because I use those for my whiteboards. Same with these. I might take these out and go to the dollar store and get rags because that's cheaper. That'll save me $10. These are for my ELA papers for students and their math folders. This is their take-home folders, okay? That's it. Would you like to know the total? $213.39. I get $250 a year, so I am left with just under $40 to spend, about $35 to spend. Would you like to find me a rug that I can buy for $35? Oh, wait, that's right. Purchased myself. All my organization, purchased myself. Your son's birthday stuff that I'm going to give him on his birthday, I purchased myself. Supply bins, which I do community supplies because I only have $35, and that's not even enough to buy a kid a brand new box of crayons, but I'm doing what I can, and I bought myself these seat pouches that hold students like headphones and stuff to keep them organized. Purchased myself. Actually, my mother-in-law was kind enough and purchased them for my classroom, but my mother-in-law, not yours. Rolling cart and a candy machine to make, I don't know, classroom a little bit more enjoyable. I purchased a cute little reading chair. My coworker purchased. She got 2 sets, this and another one off of Facebook Marketplace. So again, a teacher purchased. This will eventually have your student's name on it, but I put papers in here that need to get taken home, and any work that your child misses for vacation or sick to stay organized, I purchased. Decorations for like every holiday you can think of, Christmas tree, different classroom themes, I purchased. Any like halfway decent classroom posters, I made myself, my time, not getting paid to do that. These cute felt tiles that I have around my room. Luckily, I worked with a company who donated them, but I did have to pay extra because I wanted to upgrade so that it could fit this entire wall. So donated by a kind company, felt right. But then I also paid an extra like $150 for the upgrade. My money. So if you're gonna complain about a teacher not having something, go donate it yourself. We spend so much of our own money to make our classrooms our second homes. And what if that poor teacher was a first-year teacher straight out of college? She is probably so stressed, and a rug is the least of her worries. The least of her worries. Give your teacher some grace. We are working with what we are literally given, and we are spending our own money in our classrooms. And I'm $500,000 in debt while my husband's in dental school, and I'm still purchasing things for my classroom.
Hey Mama, I'm sorry to hear you're so disappointed. I'm a teacher and I would love to show you my fun rug. Want to come see it? I'm a 4th year teacher. I used this rug in my 1st and 2nd years of teaching. I didn't use it in my 3rd classroom, but I decided that I wanted to bring it back for my 4th year. So let's go see it.
So here it is. It's this really nice blue, light blue color. Originally it was that really nice blue color. Here it is now. These dots that you see are from where I had put Velcro dots so kids knew where they were going to be sitting on the carpet. That's the original color, and here is what it looks like now. These are from where kids would use their pencil to pick out some of the carpet, so they would just rip it out. Here is where some of my students just poked a hole through the carpet. So there used to be a Velcro dot here, and a student had drawn a sad face in permanent marker, so I wanted him to clean it up, and he ended up using a wet wipe, and it made a bigger stain right here. I will own up to this one personally. This was my coffee.
Now you probably couldn't tell because it's filthy, but I've been using my little green machine to clean it, and I'm about 1/3 of the way through. Let me show you what the water looks like. Let me tell you a little story about personal property in a school. My 1st year of teaching, I had been gifted a $100 light pink mini Keurig that I kept in the corner of my room near my sink. About halfway through the year, one of my students threw it onto the ground and stomped on it until it broke in half and the wires were exposed. Contacted the district saying, hey, a student, they ruined my $100 coffee machine. Didn't really expect much, but there was no sympathy. They just said, sorry, nothing we can do, shouldn't have brought it in. The family knew, they didn't do anything about it. Not that they're obligated to replace it, but it would have been nice to know that when I bring things into my room, they can be safe there and not intentionally destroyed. So honestly, this teacher is probably very smart to not bring anything in that she spent her own money on, like a fun rug. Because why bring in a fun rug if the fun rug is going to be destroyed? I'm not going to stress too much about this dirty rug. My kids are going to have a fine school year regardless of whether or not it's clean or dirty. It doesn't matter that much. That's not what you should be focusing on in your kids' education. Unless you want to buy a fun rug and then you want to go and help clean it when it gets disgusting, I would keep your opinions to yourself.
I don't have kids, but also hearing from the teachers who either have kids or it's their job to work with kids, I didn't think about how nasty and dirty rugs get too. Especially if you have a really big rug that's so expensive. Think about having to wash that, spot clean. Does it get ruined in 1 year? Kids spill things. Kids excrete fluids. Kids get sick all the time. There's this virus going around and one of my coworkers is not feeling well and it's because your kid is in daycare and it's just a lot. And then I have another coworker, she has 4 kids and one of her kids is getting sick. So it's just a concern for the whole household to get sick. Think about that in a rug, like all the kids in the classroom on a rug, and then when you switch classes, then a new batch of kids are on this rug. Teachers using their own money to buy supplies in addition to decorations, and of course it doesn't pay well, so where is that money coming from? Your resources could be your family, your partner, or your social media account, because there's teachers on social media, but that actually glamorizes some of it. You know, not all teachers have that same aesthetic of the TikTok teachers. And that's no hate to the teachers on TikTok, but the ones that are changing their decorations for every season, now that is not reflective of all teachers. Just because your teacher may not have a bunch of stuffed animals or they don't have bright colors everywhere, that doesn't reflect how they're going to provide education for your child. And just because you're not excited about the classroom the way it looks doesn't mean your child's not going to have a great experience at that school, or that that teacher's not a good teacher. Because in her response, she says that she was concerned about the teacher actually, and that everyone didn't know the full story, but then she says the teacher is nice. Check this out.
I did not delete the video. I privated it because I was tired of the bullying and the harassing that people were doing for me simply coming on to my platform and share my feelings. There is way more to the story than just the classroom not being aesthetic, but instead of questioning or talking about that person's being and their personality, I just only touched on the classroom having nothing in. If you guys really want to know all of the details, all the other classrooms at least utilized the whiteboard, they utilized the television, they utilized sign-in sheet signs with instructions and clear instructions. They were more ready, they were more prepared. They were all given the same rooms at the same time earlier that week. It wasn't those circumstances. If she wasn't moved into the room that day, she wasn't a new teacher. She'd been at the school before, lots of years of experience. And I'm not saying that she might not be a good teacher, but there are other things about her personality and her classroom management that I was already told privately that did not pair well with a classroom that also did not look ready for a bunch of 5-year-olds to be enjoying 99% of their day in while trying to make learning fun, probably for the first time for a lot of them. Apparently this made it all online and on Reddit, which is wild. It's not like, I mean, it went viral, but it didn't go that viral. I feel like there's, again, like people are telling me there's more things to worry about in the world. Yeah, there's more things to worry about in the world than a mom being concerned potentially that her son maybe didn't get the best teacher that they could and just wanting the best for them. Yes. And I'm not even talking a Pinterest worthy classroom. Those are great. I just meant anything. Some sort of design, some sort of animal on the table, something. There was like a shelf of books, a few toys, but like no setup, just very like it was missing. Like she was put into the classroom right before we walked in, but that wasn't the case. Yes, I know they have personal development all week. I'm not saying teachers are required to be there till 10 p.m. this, that, and the other, but in previous years, yes, we just got put with a teacher that I guess I'm just too extra for, whatever. It's not like I expected it to be like Pinterest threw up in the room, but something on the walls more than just like one calendar for a bunch of 5-year-olds for kindergarten would be expected. At least the other classrooms had a little bit here and there, some sort of decor, some sort of like homey feeling that they're going to be spending all of their days in until May. So anyways, I did not delete the video because I privated it because I have other things to do than to just keep being worried about all of the comments. It was my feelings and my page. Somehow I made it to Reddit. The teacher was nice. I never said she wasn't nice. She was welcoming. It was a little chaotic. She was a nice person. I just don't know if it's the best fit for me. And she could think that same way about parents, and other kids and teachers could think the same thing. So anyways, this is my follow-up video. I'm not going to unprivate it because I'm tired of people bullying me. So you guys are in the comments saying I'm being mean, but then you're being mean back. Make it make sense.
So what I got from her response, where she doubled down, is that she privated her video, didn't delete it because she was tired of the harassing and the bullying, and that this is her page. She can do whatever she wants on her page, which is true. But ma'am, can you not see how entitled this is? She says that she understands that maybe the teachers didn't have time because they have things to do leading up to the Meet the Teacher conference thing. Then she's like, well, you could have at least written your name on the board. Well, you could have at least paid for her or his wish list. It's just so crazy assuming the time that someone else has in their job. I feel like people always assume that someone's job is easy or that it's not that big of a deal. I've heard people say that about teachers, that, oh, you know, what's the big deal? They get the summers off. Well, that may be true. They get summers off, but their salary is at a prorate most of the time, or part of the time, and they are dealing with all kinds of things. They're underfunded, they're underpaid, they use a lot of their own personal money to supply things for the kids, and now the communication between the teacher and the parent has gotten more frequent, which is a good thing, but also there's a lot of consequences to that, because you might have people on both sides causing a ruckus. Like, for example, a parent like this one, she might be just messaging the teacher all day, or maybe the teacher is messaging the parent all day trying to get a hold of them because they need something for their child or something has happened at school, things like that. It's a new year and there's a lot of things going on, but also the lack of funds for the Department of Education. It's just, out of all things to cry about, you cried about that, you filmed it, and then you posted it, and then got upset that people told you, why is this what you're crying about? Again, we can still give people grace, but at that point, I think you should have just deleted it and moved on. You can still say your piece, but you contradicted yourself in your response, saying, oh, well, I was worried about what I heard about this teacher, but then at the end, you said, oh, she's nice. Make it make sense. And the fact that she said that other teachers had some decorations, but she had nothing, but then said that this teacher had a few toys. She also said this teacher has had years of experience. She wasn't a new teacher. And I was thinking, if I was a new teacher, I think I would have decorations, but if I've been doing something for so long, I realize I may or may not need it. And keep in mind that we're talking about kindergartners here. Yes, I assume that they want all of the fun toys and cute things on the walls, but kindergartners are just happy being there. Like, they make friends just by saying hi to someone. There's no drama in kindergarten, in my opinion, instead of just like eating a crayon or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Kids are not going to care about that stuff. A 5-year-old is not going to care if there was a bunny on the wall or not. If there's a bunny on the wall, great. But if there's not, they're not going to cry about that. They might cry if you promise them a bunny and then you didn't do it. But there's no promise. So, does that make sense? And then she also says that a 5-year-old spends 99% of their day in that classroom, but then she said her 5-year-old has more than one teacher. So, if anything, 25% of their day is in that rugless classroom. I want y'all to tell me if you remember all of your classrooms when you were in school. Do you remember what your kindergarten classroom looked like? What about your 5th grade classroom? Is that big of a deal? I mean, if I look back at all the classrooms, I mainly remember posters. And then I also remember Got Milk a lot, like the Got Milk poster in the cafeteria, and then posters in math class. Really, it was just posters. It wasn't aesthetic like it is now. When I was in school, there was not any of that. And that was the early 2000s, so. But what do you think? I mean, yes, it adds to stuff, but it's unnecessary. What's most important is the child and their education. Are they safe? And are they getting a good education? I think this lady wanted Miss Frizzle to greet her at the Meet the Teacher conference. And you know what? I don't blame her. We all want Miss Frizzle, okay? But that's not realistic. I also think she's bitter that she went viral, but not in the way that she wanted, because she kept saying, somehow I made it to Reddit.
Apparently this made it all online and on Reddit, which is wild. It's not like, I mean, it went viral, but it didn't go that viral. Somehow I made it to Reddit.
And I'm like, I mean, yeah, if you have something viral or you have a hot take, you're likely going to make it to Reddit. We just don't make the rules. That's just how the world is. If it's that crazy, you're going to make it to Reddit, okay? In my opinion. I need to look this up, but isn't there a teacher shortage? Last time I checked, there was. Keeping that in mind, it's like, why are you complaining about a rugless classroom? You should be complaining about the teacher shortage or that no one got anything on your teacher's wish list. My last point that I wanted to make is that when teachers decorate for their classroom, it's likely their own supplies. So actually, one of my husband's siblings is a teacher, and everything that she provides for her classroom is hers. And so every single year, she has to pack up her classroom and she stores it at her house or some sort of storage place, because that's hers. She provides this comfy chair that she reads to kids. She also provides storage for the pencils she buys for them, notebooks, and then also, what's that called? Where you turn in your paper in those little shelves, that type of stuff. And it's always at least 2 big totes, and then her comfy chair. She does have rugs, and she does have lamps. I've even seen her bring in her own Keurig. So it goes beyond, well, where's your decorations? It's supplies that a lot of these teachers are providing. And number one, they don't have to do it. But being a teacher is a calling. It's not like you're getting paid a fair wage for the work that you're doing, and then you also bring your work home. It's really unfair to put that on a teacher. And is meeting the teacher new? I mean, is it just me? Maybe I blocked out childhood, but is that a new thing? Because I don't remember meeting the teacher at the beginning of the year or before school started. Anyways, you guys, that was more of a heated video today. I did not expect to get all heated. But anyways, few questions for you before we go. What did you wear in high school? Let me know. Did you wear earrings? What did you wear in school? Did you wear sneakers that had the little glow up lights? I used to have that. Did you wear your makeup a certain way? Did you used to pluck your eyebrows a lot? Let me know. And then also too, let me know if you remember what your classrooms look like from whatever grade. Did it stick out to you when your teacher had decorations? Or was there one classroom you'll always remember? And of course, what did you think about this whole situation? Let me know if it was valid, for her to cry about the rug. Do you think she wasn't valid for crying about the rug? Do you think she was going through something else? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video.